Hey guys, welcome. It's Ryan from Blipsounds, and today we are going to be going over the winners of the August Blipsounds competition. This month, we actually were creating a sound from Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. We are doing Greninja's Water Shuriken, and we have a couple entries here that we're going to be going over. So we're going to be going over how these sounds can improve, and we're going to be going over what we like about them, all that other stuff, and hopefully you guys can at least learn something. So let's go ahead and get started. The first entry we have here is by Benjo72 on the Blipsounds Discord channel. Let's take a listen. So this sounds really good. What I really like about this sound is that you used a water element as your source recording, and a lot of people don't really think about elemental sound design when they're approaching their sound effects. This one has a heavy focus on water because Greninja's Water Shuriken is actually made with water in mind. You can see the shuriken is made of water. It's called Greninja's Water Shuriken. The other thing that I like that he did is he actually used a metal source recording. You can hear that there's like a metal slide right here. And that's really cool because that kind of treats it as if it's a shuriken at this point. And even though there's no metal in the actual source recording, it sort of bridges that gap between the water part and the shuriken part. So it kind of blends those both together. And then your punching, kind of your damage sounds are really good as well. One of the bigger problems that I hear with your sound is just the general mix of the sound. So, for example, we have... I want to hear more of that water, and I feel like there could be a little bit more low end on that build up to make it feel a little bit more powerful. As of now, it sounds a little bit weak. It could sound a lot bigger and a lot more satisfying. And then also just the sound of the punching, like the actual damaging on Mr. Game & Watch over here. I think that it could be a lot more... I think that the water could stand out a little bit more, or the actual damage sounds can blend into the water shuriken traveling a little bit more. Otherwise, the sound is really awesome. Really well done. I think my favorite design element in this is actually the metal sound, like the bridging the gap between that water and the shuriken part. So really well done on that sound. And then we have this sound by Nomi. And Nomi, it sounds like he actually used some sort of water source recording. And I think he actually added his own crowd ambience in the back, which is hilarious. One of the things I'm noticing about the sound, to give some feedback, would be that I think it's missing a few sounds. That's a general rule that I think most sound designers miss, though, is the fact that adding as much detail as possible in your sound is extremely helpful. Just having something as small as a damaging sound helps immerse the viewer into the world of the game a little bit more, or even just a water shuriken traveling through the air. You can feel that there's it feels a little bit empty. The rest of the sound sounds pretty good. There's definitely like a watery sound in the beginning there, when the water shuriken is being created. And I think that the releasing of the shuriken sounds good, but I felt like it could have been a little bit more... I would make it a little bit more punchy, and a simple solution to that is adding a little bit more low end to when the water shuriken gets released. This can be done with just an equalizer and your DAW, whatever it may be. So moving on, we're going to check out Sebastianus, I think is his name, on Discord. He has a really cool one. I like this one a lot. It was all made with synthesizers. It doesn't... The reason this one didn't win, unfortunately, is because it didn't really... While it did... It's probably the best sounding sound effect out of all of the sounds, in my opinion. However, due to the criteria of the competition, it didn't match the sound. basically. It was out of sync with the animation, and it also didn't really feel like it was actually coming from Greninja's water shuriken. It didn't match the animation, and it didn't fit the context of the animation. If he had a big like laser shuriken, then it might have been it might have worked. One thing he does really nicely in this, though, is that he fills out that frequency spectrum really nicely. The frequency spectrum, it covers the low and the high end, the mids. It just gets every little bit in there. And overall, it's just a really satisfying sound effect. Again, it's just that it's not really synced up to the animation. You'll see here, like so it builds up too quickly, or builds up too long rather. You see right there, that's the length of the buildup. The buildup ends when the last hit of the water shuriken is hitting Mr. Game & Watch, but really, the buildup should have ended right there. And you'll hear that pew. This right here should have happened right when he's releasing the shuriken. And then there should have been maybe just some sort of sustained noise. Just some sort of noise that's being carried over time, so it's just traveling through the air, traveling through the air, traveling through the air, and then a couple big hits when it hits Mr. Game & Watch, and then the story. If I'm to close my eyes and listen, I would say that's an awesome sound effect, but again, it just doesn't really fit this. Unfortunately, it doesn't really fit the Greninja's water shuriken. Again, great sound though, great sound. So those are our first three contestants that placed, but our winner is going to be Mr. Swash from our Discord channel, and let's listen to his sound. So I really like the sound. All the judges decided that this was the best sound due to the criteria of the competition. It's clean, it's quick, and it has its own personality to it. If I'm to give one bit of feedback, I would say that I think that the synthesized kind of sound, you can hear the synthesized sound when it connects with Mr. Game & Watch is a little bit, I think it needs to just be something a little bit more, it needs to sound like white noise or some sort of damaging sound, or maybe just water, because this water shuriken is created with the natural element of water. Having something technological in the sound doesn't really make sense. The reason this sound won, though, is because it's really the cleanest sound. What I really like about the sound is that it's synced to the animation very well, it connects to the frequency spectrum very well, and it has good use of source recordings. So it uses water elements, as you can hear. It has a little bit of like it has that buildup that's really nice. The only downside I would say is just that little technological element that's in there. So our winner is Mr. Swash from the Blipsounds Discord channel. Scott, as I know him, you will be receiving a free copy of a Blipsounds course, and you will also get the title King Blip in the Discord channel. So enjoy that. You'll get that for a month, but thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys learned something. Let us know if you learned something from this video. Let us know if you want to learn more about sound design, and come and join our Discord channel. It's a fun community where we talk about sound design. And if you go to blipsounds.com/competition, you can see all of the criteria for the competition if you want to join for next month. So stay tuned for September 1st when we announce our next competition. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Congratulations to Scott and the other contestants, and I hope to see you guys next month. Thanks.